All right, what's going on YouTube? So today we're at a local gym, and I thought I'd take the opportunity while I'm here to talk to you guys a little bit about the ACFT and how to properly train up for it, and give you guys some ideas on some alternate ways to train up for the events themselves so that you can get better at each of the exercises that are expected for you to perform during the ACFT, and eventually work on your way to maxing the events. Anybody that's in the Army now knows that the ACFT is not going anywhere. In fact, I just read a news article from the Army Times yesterday, which was April 24th, 2021, that they are coming out with an ACFT 3.0, and they're talking about changing the standards a little bit, but all the events will stay the same. Just know that, you know, the brass up at top are still making a lot of changes. They're still trying to figure it out. To make a long story short with that, again, it's not going anywhere. It is something that you still need to train hard for, and if you want to be able to pass it or even max it, you're going to have to train properly for it. So my own personal philosophy is that if you want to get good at any certain exercise, then you just need to get used to doing that exercise. But for the ACFT, if you're having a hard time even doing any of the exercises, just starting out with the exercise itself, there are some good alternate exercises that you could do to help build yourself up to get good at those specific exercises. And these exercises I'm talking about is the hex bar deadlift, the power throw, hand release push-up, the sprint drag carry, and the hanging leg tuck. All those exercises can be difficult to just jump straight into if you're not used to training for them. So we're going to talk about some exercises that can help you train up for those specific exercises so that you can be on your way to maxing them one day. First, we're going to look at an alternate exercise to replicate the hex bar deadlift. So when we're looking at the hex bar deadlift, it's a lot different than your traditional deadlift where you're carrying a barbell here at the front, lifting it up laterally to your body. Here, it's going to be perpendicular. So this forces you to get a real deep squat, keep your back nice and straight, and most of the work should be coming from your quads and your hamstrings, right? So when you do it, it's mostly a leg motion. And so the hardest part to train for is proper form, so you're not blowing out your back. So to do this, we can use kettlebells to replicate the same motion as what you would be expected to do with the hex bar deadlift. So grab yourself a set of like the heaviest kettlebells that you can find, or something that you can use that's manageable for you as you're training. Think about where you'd be standing and keeping the proper stance according to the hex bar. Place the kettlebells like so. You can see they're about the same distance from the ground as the hex bar. Get a nice deep squat and practice lifting up. And another tip that I want to give you for that one is anytime you're doing a deadlift, always make sure to keep your head up, looking straight forward, and keep a nice arch in your back. Okay, and that'll help you keep proper form. Once you feel like you've moved past the kettlebells, but you're still not quite comfortable with the hex bar itself, you can put the kettlebells up. And you can replicate the same motion with dumbbells, so you can start going a little heavier with the dumbbells. This will help you keep proper form. And just get used to that real deep squat. Another thing I want you to do to help you work on your stability and help you work on those leg muscles, help you get good at this event, is dumbbell front squats. And that's going to look like this. Put the dumbbells on your shoulder and squat all the way ass to grass. Give yourself a nice 2 to 3 second hold at the end. And that'll help you work on stability. All right, so the next exercise we're going to be talking about is the standing power throw. This exercise really does focus on your core muscles and your overall power. Okay, so that's standing power throw. Makes sense. Now, the best way to try and think about how to train for the standing power throw is doing it, for one, but for two is to replicate the distribution of weight in the same way that you'd be doing it for the event itself. So in order to do that, we can use a kettlebell, and we'll do kettlebell swings. That's gonna look like this. Grab yourself at least a 10-pound kettlebell. If not, I would recommend maybe like a 25-pound kettlebell. And you're gonna do Russian kettlebell swings. It looks like this. And when you're doing this, you can see that I'm thrusting my core forward to move the weight up. I'm not moving the weight with my shoulders. This is all I'm controlling the weight with my shoulders, but I'm forcing the weight up with my core. That's what's making the kettlebell go up. And that's what's gonna help you train for that core strength that you need for the standing power throw to be successful with that event. Now, once you feel comfortable with the Russian kettlebell swing, move on to the American kettlebell swing. And that's just a little bit different variation. It looks like this. We're gonna go a little higher in the shoulders. Again, you want to control the weight with your shoulders, but you're moving the weight with your core, with the thrusting motion. See that? You're gonna go a total 180 degree up, controlled by your shoulders. And that's gonna give you your full range of motion for what you need to train for the standing power throw. Just be careful when you're doing the American kettlebell swing so that you don't blow out your shoulders. Start off with some low weight so you can get used to the motion and then work your way up from there. All right, the third event, the hand release push-up. So a lot of you have been in the Army for a while, typically wouldn't have a hard time with the traditional push-up events, the 2 minutes of push-ups. The hand release push-up is challenging because it really works more of your front delt muscles than anything else. Yeah, it targets the chest and the triceps as well, but if any of you guys that have done this test before know that your shoulders start to feel that burnout pretty quickly, which makes it hard for you to continue on. So we've got to find a way to target those front delts in a way that's complementary to training for the hand release push-up event. And to do that, we can do body weight lean-in dips where we're targeting the chest, the triceps, and the front deltoids all at the same time. I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so these are gonna be body weight dips, but you're gonna do them lean-in style, so the chest body weight dips. And the difference is, these are gonna be regular body weight dips, like this, which are gonna work mostly the triceps. But the variant that you wanna try to do is the lean-in chest style body weight dips, and that's gonna look like this. These are a little more challenging. But you'll really feel it in the chest, the triceps, and the front deltoids. And strengthen these bad boys right here. Another way to train for the hand release push-up is to get used to doing hand release push-up Tabata drills. And for those of you that don't know what Tabata is, it's 4 minutes total of an exercise. And the way it's gonna look is you're gonna do 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest, and you're gonna repeat that 8 times for 8 iterations for a total of 4 minutes. Okay, so you're gonna do 20 seconds of hand release push-ups, rest for then 10 seconds on your knees, and then once that 10 seconds is up, do it again for 20 seconds, rest for 10 seconds, and repeat that process 8 times for a total of 4 minutes. And trust me, you'll feel some good burnout right there in your front delts, your chest, and your triceps, everything you need to do to be ready for that event. So I would recommend throwing that into your training routine, regardless of what you're training for, at least once or twice a week. And then I would also recommend doing it 3 or 4 times during the week, right before you go to bed. Just do a quick Tabata session, hand release push-ups, and you'll just start to see your results fly through the roof. All right, for the sprint drag carry, I would recommend, to get better at that event, to actually just do that event the way it's laid out. Do it with the weight that is required to be done on the test, and just continue to practice that. I would do it 3 times in any given training session, and aim towards your last time being your fastest. That's my real recommendation for the sprint drag carry. I don't think there's any other way to like appropriately train for that event and see some good results other than just doing the event itself and getting better at it. Just make sure when you do it, you set everything up to standard and you're not cheating yourself. Okay, so the hanging leg tuck, this one's getting everybody. This is one of the hardest exercises to train for. If you're not used to doing the hanging leg tuck in general, or if you're just not really, if you lack core strength, it's gonna be really hard to just get up there and knock out a whole bunch of hanging leg tucks. And if you're the kind of person that is having a hard time even doing one, then this is what I suggest you do. Start off getting good at a lying leg lift, okay? This is what lying leg lifts look like. Keep your legs 2 to 3 inches off the ground. Go up again, past the 90-degree mark. Keep your legs straight, hold and squeeze, and go back down. And work on doing 3 to 4 sets of 10 of these. And that'll help you build the appropriate core strength that's needed to be successful at the hanging leg tuck. Another exercise that I think you should do to get yourself better at that event is the commando pull-up, and that looks like this. Find yourself a pull-up bar, grip it the same way that you would grip it for the hanging leg tuck event, like this, one in front of the other. And you're gonna do commando pull-ups that look like this. You're gonna lift yourself up on each opposing side, like this. All the way down. And just work until you're proficient at doing commando pull-ups like that. The last alternate exercise that you could do to train for the hanging leg tuck, if this isn't something that you're used to doing, or you're just starting out, it's the first time trying it, just do it completely body weight. It's gonna look like this. You're gonna sit your butt, you're gonna lift your legs up off the ground, keep a 90-degree angle in your knees, put your hands like this, and reach out to each side. And get a nice squeeze on the sides. Once you get proficient with the body weight and you need a challenge, move on to carrying a medicine ball and do it with the medicine ball. So those 3 exercises combined will train the muscles that you're going to be using for the hanging leg tuck event. Don't rely on those exercises alone to help you get better at that event. You still want to train for the event itself and do that exercise specifically. But again, if you're having like a hard time just working up to even doing 1 or 5 of the hanging leg tucks, use those exercises to help you build up those core muscles, just to help you get a better score when it comes down to test day. And last, we got the 2-mile run. So obviously I'm not gonna have you guys just watch me do a 2-mile run, but I'm gonna give you some good tips that you can use going forward that's gonna help you for that event specifically. So first off, you need to start incorporating longer runs in your routine. So just because you're getting tested for 2 miles doesn't mean you should only go out and run 2 miles at a time. You should go out and get used to running 3, 4, or 5 miles at any given time. That way, when it comes down to test day and you're training for 2 miles, then 2 miles just seems like a short run and it's not such a big deal for you. Also, you need to consider that the 2-mile run for the ACFT is going to be done at the very end of all the other events. So you're already going to be really tired. You have already done deadlifts, you've done maxing out of hand release push-ups, you've done the stand release power throw, you've done the sprint drag carry. I mean, the hanging leg tucks, your body is already going to be pretty broken down by the time it comes down to needing to now perform a 2-mile run. So what you can do to help yourself with that is get used to throwing an additional 2-mile run at the end of your training routine. So if you go out and do a lift any given day, even if you're not working on training for ACFT events, add a 2-mile run to the end of it and make it so that it's as fast as you can possibly go. This will help train your body and your mind to get used to running 2 miles even though your body's already tired. So what I would recommend is have one specific training day during the week that's dedicated to ACFT training. So whether that's practicing the actual ACFT events themselves and doing those specific exercises if you're more at an advanced level, or if you're trying to get better and you want to incorporate some of these exercises that I just given you here, work on those exercises in order of the ACFT and add a 2-mile run at the end, and do that one time during every week. Okay, and that'll help you just get used to the flow of the ACFT. It'll help you get used to full body training, and it will help you be more mentally prepared when it actually comes down to the ACFT test. because you're already used to training that way, and it won't be such a shock when it comes down to testing. All right, so those are some of the alternate events that I think you should be integrating into your plan to help you get better for the ACFT. Of course, if anybody has any other ideas or any other input that they want to share, go ahead and drop it in the comments. If you're into these kind of things, everything military fitness, enhancing your career, information about schools and so on, pretty much everything Army, this is the channel for you, so make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. Besides that, that's all I got. I'll see you on the next one.